Hey, happy Thursday. Merry Christmas to you. This is Walk and Talk 141. How do you have your best Christmas? I'm going to suggest to you your best Christmas is found in Luke chapter 2, verses 6 and 7. It is 42 degrees, Nashville, Tennessee. This is Walk and Talk 141, December 22nd. Lots of people want more. They want more of everything. They pursue happiness based upon quality and quantity. I'm suggesting to you that Luke chapter 2, verse 6 says, "And while they were there, the time came for her, Mary, to give birth." Christmas first began with a teenage girl, a teenage boy, Mary and Joseph. They moved from Nazareth to Bethlehem, south of Jerusalem. She's pregnant by the Holy Spirit. It is a completely strange situation to them. She's in Bethlehem, forced to travel to register for a Roman taxation. And then the verse 7 says, "And she gave birth to her firstborn son. And she wrapped him in cloths and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn." You have in this verse 7 a very simple Christmas. She gave birth to her firstborn son, and she wrapped him in cloths and laid him in a manger, because there was no room for them in the inn. When you consider the simplicity of this, can I make a couple of suggestions to you to find your best Christmas? Can I suggest, number one, she gave birth to her firstborn son. Understand the privilege of family this Christmas. Family is very important to you. Joseph and Mary gave birth to their firstborn son. You have family. You were born into a family. Can I encourage you, don't disregard your family. Pick up the phone and call family members or text family members. Practice forgiveness. Mary gave birth to her firstborn son. You may have a son or daughter. You may have a mom or a dad somewhere. You may have a brother or sister, but family. She gave birth to her firstborn son. Find a way to reach out and just simply say, "Merry Christmas." Joseph and Mary are teenagers, and God created family. As difficult as family can be, with all of the personalities, all of the challenges, all the wants, all the desires, she gave birth to her firstborn son. Now, Mary is elated. Can I encourage you that when you see family, in this case for Mary, she's looking at her firstborn son. Can I just encourage you to enjoy the moment ignore the gifts under the tree. How about the joy of family? You say, Roger, my family is dysfunctional. My family's got all kinds of problems. Well, I can tell you that Joseph and Mary, they had all kinds of problems. Every family has problems, has challenges. But she gave birth to her firstborn son. So you might be experiencing some firsts this Christmas. Mary had her firstborn son, and she's traveled from Nazareth. That's ballpark 40, 50, 60 miles, depending upon how you travel. And she's in Bethlehem. It's completely new territory to her. And then the text says in Luke chapter 2, verse 7, she gave birth to her firstborn son and wrapped him in cloths. I don't know what kind of baby blanket that was, but think about, she's traveling, she's pregnant. My guess is they did not have designer clothes. My guess is they did not have the best of the best. Some scholars believe that these cloths here refer to rags. Some believe they could be simply a baby blanket that she brought from Nazareth. Could be one she borrowed. It could some scholars believe this could be burial cloths, strips of burial cloths. But the fact of the matter is, she gave birth and she wrapped her firstborn son in cloths, in blankets. That's the natural thing to do. Probably it's springtime. That's the best guess. It's probably not December when Jesus was born. It's December when we celebrate, but not the actual time period. Probably it's in the spring because that's when shepherds are out in the field. But think of the simplicity. She takes her newborn on that first Christmas and wraps him in cloths. She's not worried about gifts. She's got the best gift. You and I see things through the idea of more gifts or better gifts. She just simply takes her son, her newborn, and that's her gift. You have been given the gift. You've been given Jesus. You've been given the baby. The baby was born at Christmas, wrapped in a blanket. Notice the text says, and she laid him in a manger. That word manger is literally feeding trough. You put, usually it's carved out of stone, and it's just nothing more than a place where hay or food is put for the animals on that carved out stone. And that becomes the crib, that becomes the manger. Think of the simplicity. She doesn't have anything. Most of us are unhappy, again, because we want more. And she gave birth to her firstborn son, and she wrapped him in cloths, in a blanket, a simple blanket. And she lays him in a manger. Don't miss. You don't need more this Christmas. If you want your best Christmas, you got the baby. You got Jesus. You don't need more to be happy. Happiness is understanding that contentment is available to anyone. Your best Christmas is learning to be content in your circumstances. If you have more, great. There's nothing wrong with more. But the key to happiness or your best Christmas is not having more. You have Jesus. The baby was given for you. She wrapped him in cloths and laid him in a manger. She did not have the money to buy a nice crib or nice clothes. Notice your best Christmas, the first Christmas, there's no room for them in the inn. Most scholars believe that Bethlehem was just packed with travelers who were forced to register for the Roman taxation. So all of the available space was taken, and there's nowhere to go except the backyard where the barn, the stable, the grotto, where animals were kept at night. Most believe that this grotto was a cave in the limestone carved out where animals would find shelter at nighttime. You might call it a barn, call it a stable, but they don't have anything. They don't have anywhere to go. A good chance there were barn animals around, but notice how natural and simple this is. All she has is a baby blanket, her firstborn son. She wraps him in cloths and lays him in a manger. There's no house, there's no living room, there's no bedroom, there's no bathroom. Notice how simple this is. May I also suggest how poor? Joseph and Mary were not rich in material things. Matter of fact, they're from Nazareth, and Nazareth is considered to be one of the poorest of the poorest. This Christmas, your best Christmas, is not having more. Lower your expectations. Shift from what you can see, shift to God. You don't have to have more to have your best Christmas. You can have more. You can have the best Christmas by just simply focusing on the baby. She gave birth to her firstborn son, and she wrapped him in cloths and laid him in a manger because there was no room for them in the inn. Let me give you another suggestion. The invisible, not the visible, the spiritual, not the material, not the physical, the spiritual, the invisible is where you should have your focus this Christmas. Your best Christmas is recognizing God is with you. Emmanuel, God is with us. Your best Christmas is understanding family is one of the most precious gifts God can give you. She gave birth to her firstborn son, and she wraps him in cloths and lays him in a manger because there's no room for them in the inn. You don't need more. What you need is more of Jesus. We live in a world driven by physical. Lots of people make a big fuss over what they look like. They make a big fuss over the physical stuff they can touch, the quality and the quantity. Nothing wrong with the physical stuff. It's not going to make you happy. As soon as you buy, as soon as you receive that new gift, usually within hours or within days, that newness loses its appeal. And you're going to have to go back and look inside your soul and identify what makes you happy, what makes you content. And you're going to come back to the Christmas story, and it says right here that she gave birth to her firstborn son, and she wrapped him in cloths and laid him in a manger because there was no room for them in the inn, no room in anyone's house. If you have family, practice forgiveness, encourage family to follow Jesus. Mary gives birth to her firstborn. If you have a family and your firstborn is nearby, give them a big hug. If you have family and your secondborn is nearby, give them a big kiss. If you have family and your third child, fourth child, fifth child, Christmas is about family. Jesus is born into humanity, born into a family, Joseph and Mary. And the text is just simply saying, keep Christmas simple. Your best Christmas is enjoying the gifts of family, the gift of the baby. Jesus gives us the ability to practice love, practice forgiveness. Many individuals struggle forgiving. Let me just encourage you, there was a firstborn named Jesus, and Mary and Joseph, teenagers, and the text says in Luke chapter 2, verse 7, she wraps him in a blanket, some kind of inexpensive blanket, lays him in a feeding trough, a place where animals eat from, because there's no room. She's literally giving birth in the barn, in a stable, in a grotto. Your best Christmas is keeping it simple. You don't need more. What you need is more of Jesus. So lower your expectations on the physical and put your eyes, put your values, put your love on the spiritual. That would be a baby born to live for 30-some years, would be crucified and buried, resurrected on the third day to forgive, to offer you mercy, to offer you compassion. This Christmas can be your best Christmas, but keep it simple. As I enjoy this walk near Franklin, Tennessee, in a neighborhood called Cottonwood, I've noticed several nativity scenes, just reminding people in that nativity scene are something simple like a mom and a dad kneeling and looking at their baby in a manger. That's it. Keep it simple. You're blessed if you're able to listen to this. Maybe I should just simply again say, consider your family. Reach out to your family members. Have a great Christmas. This is Walk and Talk 141, December 22nd. It's a cool 42 degrees, and I'm hoping that you will have your best Christmas. We invite you this coming Saturday night for our Christmas Eve services in Tempe, Arizona, 4 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 8 o'clock. And if you're available on Christmas Day, Sunday, at 11 o'clock for our 11 o'clock service, we would invite you there as well. I'm going to close by just simply giving you a picture of just a very simple manger scene. So just remind yourself, keep Christmas simple. Remind yourself that Christmas is not about more. It's about loving your family. It's about reminding yourself a baby was born to offer forgiveness. And each individual must recognize that we live in a beautiful opportunity just simply to enjoy Christmas to the best. It's just amazing when you think of the gift of life, when you think that so many people, you don't have to have much. You just don't have to have a whole lot to have your best Christmas. I'm enjoying Christmas with my family, Sharon and Charmin, and their children, their family. It's an extended family. Oftentimes in our family there's 12, 13, 14, there's just 15, 16. There are times when there's lots of people around, and remind yourself you don't need a whole bunch of gifts to be happy. Enjoy your family. Take the moment to just simply relax and smile. Remember that word, forgiveness. Blessings on you. Merry Christmas.